Hi guys, so obviously this week's discussion is about Hispanic foods and flavors. So the first question asks to talk about the items on the list and compare them to US foods. So some of the items on the list were like the plantain chips or the Spanish beverages and some of the breakfast foods. Some of these are similar to US foods, like the plantain chips. Plantains are kind of like bananas, but they're different. Some of the drinks are similar to US soft drinks. So there are obviously some similarities and differences between Hispanic foods and foods in the US. Not just in the Hispanic world, but in any culture, food is very important because it is a way to bring people together, because you can bring people together to share a meal or just to sit around and bond and talk to each other. So food is a great way to bring people closer together and get to talk with people like your family you may not have seen in a while. A lot of people gather for meals at holidays or special occasions, so not just in the Hispanic world, but in any culture, food always plays an important role. I have not had the opportunity to try many Hispanic foods outside of like food that you'd find in a typical Mexican restaurant. So, but my favorite food at a Mexican restaurant would be quesadillas, or just honestly just chips and salsa. That's kind of my go-to. But other than that, I have not had many opportunities to try Hispanic food from a different country. But that will definitely be something that I will try to get involved in. I also do not have the opportunity to cook very much, so there are not any Hispanic dishes that I know how to cook personally. My grandma has some friends who she has learned to cook some different types of Hispanic foods from, so I could learn from her or some of her friends. And obviously Hispanic food is not the same everywhere. You could travel to a different country or a different part of a country and have a different food than you would get somewhere else. Same thing for the US food. And the northern part of the US can be different from the southern part of the US. So with any country, food would not be the same everywhere. And then in the US, I've heard from different people that the food we consider Mexican food from a Mexican restaurant in the US is not the same as a typical food in Mexico. So I do believe that there are differences and that we do not eat the same type of Mexican food.